The report on the briefing from Health Benefits Limited is set down for consideration. No bills have been introduced. The House comes to question for oral answer. The first question is in the name of David Bennett.
Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Finance. What reports has he received on the economy?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Finance, today Statistics New Zealand has released the gross domestic product data for the December 2012 quarter. It shows the New Zealand economy grew 1.5% in the quarter, the highest quarterly growth since December 2009 and above market expectations. Annual growth was 3% year on year. The last time this was higher was before the global financial crisis and before the domestic recession that preceded that crisis. This is a reasonably encouraging result, particularly when New Zealand's 3% growth in 2012 as compared to other countries, 1.5%, 1.6% in the US, 1.1% in Canada, 0.4% in Japan, 0.3% in the UK, and negative 0.9% in the euro area.
Supplementary question, David Bennett.
What are the main drivers of GDP growth in the December quarter?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
On behalf of the Minister of Finance, Statistics New Zealand reports broad growth with 15 of the 16 measured industries growing in the December quarter. The main drivers of growth in the December quarter were forestry, which grew 9%, the largest increase since 1999. Retail, accommodation and restaurants up 2.3%, driven by retail activity. Wholesale trade up 2.1%, driven by equipment and machinery sales. And construction activity up 1.8%, which was the fifth consecutive quarterly increase. Manufacturing activity in the December quarter was up 2.7% year on year, but down 0.5% in the quarter, and that was mainly due to a fall in oil production. Household consumption increased 1.6% and exports increased 2.1%.
Supplementary question, David Bennett.
What is the outlook for New Zealand's economic growth and how does that compare with other developed countries?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
On behalf of the Minister of Finance, Treasury and the Reserve Bank forecast New Zealand's economy can expect growth of 2 to 3% per year over the next 4 years. This is in spite of the headwinds of ongoing uncertainty in the world economy, an elevated exchange rate, deleveraging in the household and government sectors, and of course this year's drought. New Zealand's forecast growth is higher than consensus forecasts for the Eurozone, Japan, the United Kingdom and Canada. It's in line with forecast growth in the United States of America and slightly below that of Australia. There remains work to do, but this shows New Zealand is broadly heading in the right economic direction.
Supplementary question, David Bennett.
What are the risks to growth in the next few years and what steps is the government taking to manage these risks?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
On behalf of the Minister of Finance, while the world economy is showing some positive signs, recent events in Europe and questions about the process of unwinding central bank balance sheets shows that some uncertainty does remain. That is why the government has focused on developing its business growth agenda, a comprehensive plan for building a productive and competitive economy and encouraging business investment and growth. Also raising national savings by getting back into surplus and developing new financial stability tools that include the macro-prudential framework.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Parker.
Why is the Minister claiming the economy is performing well, given that 23,000 people lost their job and 33,000 people left the workforce in the very same December quarter that he's been referring to?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Finance, it's worth pointing out to the member that actually in the 2 years to December, the job growth in the quarterly employment survey was 54,000 jobs. I appreciate that it is not we still haven't got a perfect economy, but if the member wants to criticise the government for achieving 1.5% growth in one quarter, I say make him keep doing it.
Supplementary question, the Right Honourable.
I ask the Minister, before he begins crowing about the temporary state of the economy, will he tell the hundreds who queued outside a South Auckland factory 2 weeks ago at Carter Holt's Pakuranga factory when they will get a job?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Finance, I don't think anybody's been crying in this House recently except the right honourable member, but the reality of it is that the New Zealand economy...
Point of order, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
What on earth could that opening sentence have to do with an answer?
It was a very political question. I want to hear the question.
Well, this is a political place.
That's absolutely right. Now, could the Minister please complete the answer?
He's got soft.
Point of order, Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr. Speaker, we were listening to your response. We were having trouble hearing it because of the assistance you were getting from the Associate Minister of Finance and the Leader of the House. I don't know if there's something wrong with the sound system, but, sir, while you were ruling, you were being overcalled by those two ministers.
I didn't hear a huge amount of interjection, but I fully accept there was some interjection, and it goes to prove that interjections from either side of the House, when I'm making a comment to any member, will lead to disorder. Would the Minister please now answer the question that was raised by the Right Honourable Winston Peters?
Well, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Finance, I was pointing out to the member that the only one describing anything as crowing was the member himself. In terms of the job market, we certainly accept that the job market remains challenging, although there has been job growth, not enough to actually meet the needs of all New Zealanders, and that's why the business growth agenda is very, very important in terms of encouraging opportunities for investment in the New Zealand economy. Well, actually, I think there are very strong signs that it is working relative to the rest of the world, and if the member would like me to run through the GDP growth relative to the rest of the world again for his benefit, I'd be happy to do so.
Supplementary question, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Will the Minister explain to the country why foreigners are coming here in their thousands on...
Order.
Will he explain to the country why foreigners are coming here in their thousands on work permits when a record number of young people who are New Zealanders can't get a job in their own country?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Finance, I find both of the legs of the question of the member are actually factually incorrect. The first leg of the question says record numbers coming to New Zealand. Well, that's obviously not correct when you look at the migration statistics.
Points of order, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
This Minister was asked a straightforward question. The record numbers claim was to do with the record numbers of youth out of work, and that's a fact. So would you ask them now to address the question?
Because the Minister rose and straight away said he didn't accept the question that was put by the member. That's a perfectly satisfactory answer.
That I said that there were a record number of foreigners coming on work permits. I didn't say that. The Hansard will prove that. Now make him answer the question as you're required to do.
The member said that there were foreigners coming in their thousands. And the Minister satisfactorily addressed that question by disputing it. He is quite entitled to do so. Question number 2.
Point of order.
Point of order, Right Honourable.
Will he answer the question then? Because he hasn't answered yet.
He did answer the question.
No, he didn't. I point of ordered him. He stopped.
Order. And I ruled that the question had been answered. The Minister said he just didn't accept the supposition in the member's question. Is this a point of order or
with respect, if he gets up and he claims that I've made a statement which I didn't make, and the Hansard will show it, how then can you avoid making him answer the question?
Because I have told the member that I am satisfied that the member answered the question by saying he did not accept the suppositions that were raised by the member in asking the question. Question number 2, the Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. Does he agree with Westpac economist Nathan